Welcome to Hook and Loops. I'm EJ Hart, and I've got 3 options on what to do with the fringe on the blankets that I've been making on this channel. First option is to make the fringe look thicker and fuller. One thing you can do is make more fringe to make the fringe look fuller. So I'm just going to cut some strands of yarn. Just measure the piece out on how long I might want it. I'm turning one strand of yarn into 2 pieces of fringe by folding it in half. And I'm going to do 2 of them, which will make a total of 4. I'm going to put my hook underneath the strands in the middle. Then I'm going to insert my hook at the end of the blanket where there's an empty space. And then I'm going to take all 4 of the strands and hook it through and pull it through the blanket and pull it through the loop. So this will give it more fringe and it'll look fuller. So we're going to take 2 strands of yarn and put them together and fold them in half, and it'll make 4 pieces of fringe. We're going to put the hook underneath the strands and hold it there. Find a space somewhere on the blanket, insert it into a stitch. Then I'm going to take all 4 of the strands, which is only 2 pieces of yarn, I'm going to hook onto all 4 of them, pull it through the blanket, and pull it on top of the strands. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do 1 strand this time. So you're just going to take your piece of yarn and fold it over and put your hook underneath the yarn, hold it with your fingers, insert the hook at the end of the blanket into a stitch. Then I'm going to hook on to both ends, the 2 strands, and I'm going to pull it through, and I want to be on top of the strand that I'm working on. Kind of forms a loop right there. And pull it all the way through, and it hooks on. Now the fringe I already had on there looks a little kinky and curly because I had them tied for a long time. So I untied them to do this video, so that's why some of them look a little curly. I'm going to put a few more in here. And you can just put as much as you want in to get the thickness of the fringe like you like it. Second option is to make tassels. So I'm going to take 4 strands of yarn and separate them. And I'm just going to tie them in a overhand knot. So I'm just going to grab all 4 of them together and form a loop. And then put all 4 strands into the loop. And then I want to make sure I pull out each strand so they don't get caught up in the knot. And then I want to push that knot up to the blanket. And there's the tassel. So now you can just go and take 4 strands of yarn. I'm just going to take the 4 pieces of yarn, wrap them around my finger to form a loop. I'm going to pull my finger out, keeping the loop, and then I'm going to put all 4 strands into the loop and pull them out one by one. Make sure they don't get caught up into the knot. Then I'm just going to push the knot down towards the blanket. At the same time, I'm pulling on the strings to make sure that they're all out. Okay, I'm going to make a couple more tassels. Option 3 is the knotted fringe. I'm going to separate my tassels into 2 sections. So 2 strands of yarn in each section. This is knot 1, section 2, and this is knot 2, section 1. I'm going to take both of these and tie them together with an overhand knot. So I'm just going to form the loop using my finger, and then I'm just going to push all 4 strands into the loop and pull out each strand. Sometimes they get caught up in there a little bit. You got to pull them out. And I'm going to leave that knot right there in the middle. This is knot 2, section 2, and this is knot 3, section 1. And I'm going to tie these 2 together in an overhand knot. So now I'm just going to trim up the fringe so it's all even. And the first two tassels that are loose, you can just tie them together in an overhand knot. Now, some other things you can do is you can unravel the yarn to make it look like this, a little shaggier. And you can also put it through the wash, and that will make the ends shaggy. And you can also comb it if you'd like. Consider subscribing to Hook and Loops. Just click the icon and click subscribe. And thank you for watching.